We are the New York Knicks. I'm back, rocking in New York. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks taking no shorts, it's like winter. New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
Hey everybody, it is episode 433 of the New York Knicks podcast. I am Jay. With me is Mark. How you doing, Mark?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing great. The training camp opens up very, very soon, which means
Yes.
preseason's right around the corner, which means basketball.
Which means, you know what it means?
Mhm.
It means that Knicks are signing guys that you've never heard of and they will never hear of again to get them in camp for a couple weeks.
Yes.
Yes.
It's an annual tradition.
Where we find out guys' names, learn a little bit about them, and then forget about them for the rest of our lives. Jeff Kobe, he is now coming to New York Knicks training camp. Did you know that?
Now I do.
Yes, he was a standout on the Haitian national team,
Okay.
which is where you go to look for. Why not? I am sure he'll be. We'll never have to say his name again.
No, probably not.
What do you know about Jeff Kobe, Jay?
He was on the Haitian basketball team.
You can listen. That's awesome. You could. Yes, this is all we really need to know about him. Yeah. Do you? Maybe we should do like a where are they now? Guys that were signed to last year's that we never hear about or the year before. It's always like one or two guys that you'll never hear about again. You'll never know if they exist again after. Like I'm sure he'll be cut. There's no way Jeff Kobe's going to make the team. No offense, Jeff Kobe, and I don't even know if I'm pronouncing his name correctly. But
I'm going to put my money on not.
No.
I haven't seen the spelling. I'm just basing it on your usual pronunciations.
Yeah. Well, who do you? So, but you do know about Tyrese Walker, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Another signing? That doesn't matter. Okay, let's move on to real things.
So
Go. I have a question for you, actually.
okay, let's hear your question first.
So here's my question. So the big news, I guess the biggish news, Jimmy Butler has asked about the Bulls. That was last year. This is this year. He asked the Timberwolves to be traded.
No red flags there.
No red flags there at all. 2 years in a row, they need to be traded. Question to you. Do you get excited? Because I've heard people say this. It's just exciting when a player, an all-star level player, talks about destinations and talks about your team as being a destination he'd like to go to. Is that exciting for you, Jay? Because I've heard people say, like, it's exciting when we just get mentioned. Like, when we're mentioned as a trade, as a destination where a player wants to go, I'm excited.
I realize things have been bad, but let's not turn into that.
I've heard this in multiple places where like, or on ESPN radio, I've heard multiple sources where they're saying, like, this is, first of all, when I hear a player, Jimmy Butler or whoever else, wants to be traded to the Knicks, all I think is, oh, God, what are we going to do?
Yeah, I mean, the good thing is that there was a press conference right before this whole Jimmy Butler thing where Mills and Perry were saying that they are not looking to trade draft picks and they're building a young core and they want to stay the course. I don't know if anything changed since Butler requested a trade the very next day, but
I mean, they've come back, they've spoken since and said nothing changed.
Yeah, no,
they said we do not want to go after. We do not want to trade assets to get a guy that we think we can possibly get in free agency. They've preached patience then. They're still preaching patience. Whereas the Knicks usually preach shiny object, they're preaching let's be patient, let's do this right.
I mean, I'm really happy that it looks like they're going to hold the course because it would be the Melo thing all over again if the Knicks started trading draft picks and one of our young guys just to get Jimmy Butler, and then what do you got? Jimmy Butler and nothing around him.
Yeah, that's pretty much. I mean, well, so Coach Fizz, do we call him Fizz or Fizdale these days? Are we comfortable enough with him to call him Fizz?
We might have to have him on the show first.
Yeah, I think we might get Jimmy Kobe on the show before he comes on. But
We We had Mike Woodson on before. Maybe
Yes, it's true.
maybe our buddy's working on a Fizdale.
If someone could do a Fizdale, that'd be data for us. What he said was, you need to establish a culture before you can do anything else. If you don't have a culture, then you just adding players when there's no real culture is not going to work. Which may be, if you're looking for a scenario where the culture may not have been established very well, and they added a player like Jimmy Butler, the Timberwolves actually added Jimmy Butler. It did not work out, and their culture did not seem to be they don't say they have a good culture going there.
Yeah, I mean, I put most of that blame on Wiggins.
I mean, but the thing is, Butler got there. Butler's thing, I guess, is, and yeah, he seems like without calling out Wiggins, his problem is Wiggins. But he feels like the young guys there do not work as hard. They don't care about winning the way he does, and Butler really wants to win. That's why he wants to go to the Clippers, the Knicks, or the Nets.
From what I've read, almost nobody works as hard as Butler.
But isn't it weird that he also said, I really want to win, and I picked 3 teams that are so far from winning right now?
Yeah, I guess he's looking at big picture. I mean, all 3 of those teams can add a max contract in a year.
Yeah, I think max contract. You could say the Lakers. He probably is not. He probably in his mind he doesn't want to be play with. Maybe he doesn't want to play with LeBron. A lot of guys don't necessarily want to play with LeBron, even though LeBron means obviously LeBron's a great player, but he's probably difficult to play with also.
He's probably difficult to play with, and you have to assume sometime before he turns 50 he's going to decline, and LeBron might not be a player that takes that well.
And if you want to be the alpha on the team, you don't go to a team with LeBron because you're immediately not going to be the alpha on that team. So maybe you go to Clippers, Knicks, Nets, and you're the dog. You're the guy there, basically. They can build around in your mind if you're Butler.
Well, he's also picking teams that are really desperate for a hero, and if you win at any of those 3 teams, you're going to go down in history.
Right, and you're making big cities, and I can understand why he would pick those cities, and total respect. And I like the fact that I'm not excited that he mentioned Knicks, but I don't not like the fact that he would say the Knicks. A lot of people are like, well, I'll take Butler if we can just trade Joakim Noah straight up for him. Maybe we'll throw in Lance Thomas, as if Minnesota's gonna be like, yeah, sure, why not? Yeah, we're not even gonna list the offers for anyone else. If Butler wants the Knicks, we'll go there and just take whatever trash they'll give us back.
Yeah.
It would have to be. Well, they'd have to give up a lot basically to get him, which is also the problem.
Yeah, because I mean, I know Minnesota. It's come out that they want to move him fast, but you're not going to get him for Noah and Lance Thomas or something. They're going to want a draft pick.
You're going to want a draft pick, or they're going to want one of your young players that you're not going to want to give up, named Kevin Knox.
Yeah, we don't want to give up Knox, Ntilikina, Porzingis. So, I don't.
Well, what did it take to get Noah? Get Butler. Butler was just traded. His value in that trade, it was the number 8 pick in the draft, was marketed, right?
Yeah.
They got a good young player in what's his name?
Dunn and Levine.
Yeah, so that's he probably is worth a little. You think he's worth less or more? I think he's probably worth a little less after that. Because he's seen as a malcontent.
Well, I don't know if he's worth less because Levine was coming off of a major surgery, and Dunn wasn't anything Dunn looked a lot better on his new team. So
yeah.
and Markkanen was a lot of people thought was going to be a bust. So it's not like they got a huge.
Yeah, they get a huge haul, but it's still a draft pick. It's still more than the Knicks wanted. We want the Knicks to give up, basically.
Yeah.
What the? How do you root for the Timberwolves? How could you be a Timberwolves fan at this point? I don't know. I think the Timberwolves have suffered more than the Knicks just because of the players they've seen there, and everyone has to leave Minnesota. No one can stay there.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's got to be. We've had a rough too. I mean,
yeah, it's hard to you have Garnett, and Garnett, all-time great player, and you couldn't do jack shit with him for 1 year.
Garnett's their Ewing.
Yeah, no, he's not though, because Ewing. I guess they made the first round of the playoffs with Garnett a bunch of times, right?
Almost every year.
Yeah, I mean we went further, but yeah I guess yes, all-time great. He's the greatest player in Minnesota franchise history. That's hands down, right?
Yeah.
And then you get Love, and you're like, okay, we got Kevin Love. But you knew he wanted to leave, so you made the trade.
Well, you also thought Wiggins wasn't going to be
yeah, I
bad.
guess yeah. It's really the Butler thing. You thought you were finally building something as a Minnesota fan. You were like, okay, because what you want to do is have some really good young players, and then add that all-star level talent to put your team over the edge, over the top, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And you figured you had Towns. Towns looks like he should be one of the best players in the NBA. You got Wiggins, in theory, should be really good. You add Butler, you got like a solid big three there, and they were playing pretty well last year.
Well, I mean, Teague's no slouch either.
Yeah, no, it's already like blowing up.
Well, let's get back to how this fits in with the Knicks.
Okay, so here's the first question. So do you think Mills, like I know they're saying the right things. Do you think they're going to like formulate an offer, or are they going to be? I think they've said they're like the rumor is they're not as interested, but is there a chance Mills and Perry get together and go, you know what? We'll trade the draft pick. Whoever we're going to draft next year is not going to be as good as Butler. The chances are they're not going to be as good as Butler. Chances are Ntilikina is not going to be as good. Like, is there a chance they're actually going to say like, let's just make a deal. Let's make a run for this?
I don't think so. I think that they're going to make an offer, but I think it's going to be with whatever crap we have.
I don't think they're even making an offer. I don't think they're going to. I think they're going to look at it and go, what's the point of even offering Lance Thomas, Tim Hardaway, and Noah? Like, it's not. There's no point in making this offer.
Because you never know.
You never know how much drugs that Minnesota's taken that night.
Maybe Minnesota's getting even worse offers from other people, and Hardaway all of a sudden looks good.
Like the Nets are on the phone being like, like Okafor was like, he was a top pick in the draft.
Right.
Okay, so here's the next question. Are you concerned that, so I guess a similar scenario would have been Carmelo Anthony. Everyone thinks of Carmelo Anthony, right?
Yeah.
And so. The rumors are that Donnie Walsh did not want to make the trade until someone with more power than Donnie Walsh stepped in.
Yeah.
Any idea who it was?
Why don't you refresh people's memories?
So, are you concerned that Dolan's going to step in here? Are you concerned he's going to go can't open for the Eagles tonight? Got to get James Dolan. I mean, I got to get Jimmy Butler.
No. I feel like Dolan has finally learned his lesson. And I think his music career is going a lot better than it was back then.
Yeah. I mean, there are the rumors that, it's probably not going to happen, that he's so interested in his music career and just being involved in entertainment that he's going to sell the Knicks because they're a distraction. But that's
I don't think he's going to sell the Knicks because it makes him filthy money, but I think he is going to focus maybe a little more on his music. And that's a great thing.
I don't think the money thing, because I feel like you sold the Knicks, you probably get like a crazy like $2 or $3 billion for that. It's just, I feel like it's just like, you're a rich guy. This is a fun thing to own.
I mean, it definitely probably helps with the ladies if you say I own 2 professional sports teams.
Yeah,
3 if you count the Liberty.
I bet you don't think I'm a dwarf now.
Yeah.
How tall is Dolan?
I don't know.
He's
over 5 feet.
Okay. He kind of looks like a troll, though, right? Like, if not for the fact that he had all this money, he'd look like a troll.
I mean, he probably wouldn't need much makeup if he was in a Lord of the Rings sequel.
Okay, so should the Knicks want a guy like this Butler? And I guess in the same time, like, is this a guy that you'd want in the team? Like, let's say they got drunk and they offered you Noah, like some kind of crazy trade. Is this the guy you'd want in the team?
I would say yes. He's got maybe questionable personality issues, but he's a guy who busts his ass every night on both ends of the floor, which is definitely something you want.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that many flaws in his game. I mean, he's not, I wouldn't call him a top 10 player, but he's solid top 20, right?
15, I'd say.
Yeah. So I mean, he's a really good player.
He's a two-way player. I mean, he's 29. So like you're talking about signing him next year. He's going to want a max contract. So you're going to have a guy till like he's 34.
Right. See, that's the thing when you say a guy like Butler, because Butler played under Thibs, who played him crazy minutes. So he's like a 35-year-old in a 30-year-old's body, probably.
Right. And he, but apparently he wanted more of that because he went to Minnesota and got more of those minutes. But yeah,
I mean, it's if you can get a top 15 guy in the league, yes, you want that.
What does the team look like though? Like in the sense of you bring him in. Let's just say you brought him in this year, so he plays the 3 for us. I guess we have so many guards. You put him in the 3. He's a 2-3 basically, right?
Yeah.
So you put him. Let's say put him in the 3 because he solves the problem there, and then Knox becomes a 4, and KP comes back. He's the 5.
I like that.
I mean, it doesn't look bad, and I guess Mitchell Robinson's your backup.
I mean, he's probably going to be the backup anyway.
He's going to be a starting center in this league, Jay. Just give it time.
Okay.
Don't. You have little faith. Mitchell Robinson is going to be our starting center for years to come. May not happen this year, but he's a beast.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't insult Mitchell Robinson, Jay. Just back the hell off.
Wow.
Yeah, I think he's going to be good.
That escalated quickly.
Okay, so, well, here's a question. So, you get Butler. Is there any negative impact on this season getting him? In the sense of, right now we're going to spend this season, KP's out for most of the year, we're going to spend this season focusing on developing the young guys.
Yep.
You get Butler in, suddenly it's like more win now, and you're not as you care more about wins and losses. It takes away from the development.
Well,
you can't just like Knox. You can't let Knox just like shoot when he wants to shoot. You're gonna be like, now we have to win these games.
Well, it's also going to take away from potential draft pick at the end of the year.
That's true.
You get Butler, you're not getting a top 5 draft pick.
Though a chance of the top pick being as good as Butler isn't that great. Like if it's the off season, are you open to signing him?
Yeah. My problem is giving up assets when you can have him a year from now.
Yeah. Well, the question also is that the other scenario is like Paul George, Lakers said we'll just sign him in free agency, and that never happened.
That's a risk worth taking.
So
right? Why jeopardize having what is potentially the final piece in a young core for Jimmy Butler? Like it doesn't do anything to do it now.
Yeah, I mean, right now you get him. Maybe we can sneak into the 8th seed, but if it hurts development, you really need like Knox, Robinson, Ntilikina. You need all the young guys to. You need to develop this whole culture thing on their phase. You need like.
Well, not only that, even with Butler, you still need another piece. Well, and if you trade, you're going to need a couple pieces. So
right.
If you wait, you get a draft pick. Maybe that's the piece. Add Butler on top of that. Now you're talking. No,
it's true. It's also I kind of think with this is like you don't want to add a guy too soon. You add a guy too soon, it puts it kind of curtails a little bit of development of the young guys. Right. You want to have them at least. You want to have them a little bit further along before you add the star. I mean, you kind of want to add the star player at the time Minnesota did. Just have it work out better.
Yeah, I mean the timing for Minnesota was great. They were ready to go. It just happens that Wiggins wasn't ready to go. Seemed like he was just ready to get paid.
I mean, was KP ready to go? I mean, not KP. Was Towns ready to go either?
From what I've heard, Butler had some issues with Towns' attitude, but I feel like Butler just has an attitude with a problem with everybody who isn't like in the gym at 4 a.m.
Where was everyone last night? We went to bed, dude. I've been here the entire night. You guys are bad. I went off this team too. No team can handle how good I am. It's also the same thing that the guy wanted off 2 teams in a row, and I understand that it was Tibbs in Chicago basically, and then it may be a very similar culture in Minnesota because it's still Tibbs.
It's not. I don't think it was Tibbs. I think it's that he is a guy that basically was willing to destroy his body to win, and some NBA players aren't built like that. Some are happy being in the NBA and don't need to be the best player. He wants to be the best player in the league, and he tries to do that. And when he sees other people not doing that, it pisses him off.
But he had a problem in Chicago. When Rose and Noah were good, he still had a problem there also. He's had problems he had a problem with them also.
Did he have a problem with Noah?
I don't think he had a problem with Noah. I think he had a problem with Rose.
Well, okay.
Well, which is fine. Yeah, I don't know. Butler just. I worry about anyone that's had problems like with other teams coming to the Knicks who have a history of being a circus. I want before we put the house down. I want like the base, the cement, everything laid properly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here's a question.
Okay.
We both agree. I think we both agree that the Knicks should not. Knicks free agency. Butler's a kind of guy you might want to go for, but in trading, bad idea, right?
Correct. Yep, totally agree.
We're not going to do the Melo thing again. This is different than Melo. Melo was 25 also, and at the time Melo was, if anything, if you want to argue Butler or Melo, it almost made more sense for Melo, I'd say.
To trade?
I mean, if you had to trade for one of them, you're going to choose for one of them. At least Melo at the time was 25 years old and had like his prime years ahead of him.
Right.
And was considered one of the best players in the NBA at the time.
Right, but it was also one of those situations where why not just wait? Because that was a mid-season trade too, wasn't it?
It was a mid-season trade.
Yeah, so you couldn't wait 3 months.
Oh yeah, and I don't need to revisit like why. I'm just saying like it still made more sense than Butler, where like we've already learned a lesson here, and Butler is not. It's not going to put us over the top in any like it's some. We had some theory back then that you put Melo next to Amari, and suddenly we're going to be a real contender.
Right.
So who should be in for? Knicks don't go for it. You're going to assume Minnesota's going to make the trade. Who should be in on this?
I would guess the Clippers because they don't have like a young core that they're trying to develop. They seem like they're just let's try and win now. So if you're the Clippers, you definitely try and do that.
So what about why not the Lakers, Philly, Toronto? I heard there's a rumor that Toronto's interested. Like teams that are close. Like when LeBron needs someone else to play with, shouldn't the Lakers be in on this?
Yeah, I think it's a question of, do you want to give up somebody like Ingram or Kuzma to like, young guys?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's 30, so
LeBron's 107 in basketball years. Like
that
he has
is
like
true.
3 years left max. Like why not just like because right now for the Lakers. Right now the Lakers are kind of saying this season is we're punting for the season. We're playing for the next year when we maybe can get
I don't know if they're saying that.
You don't think so?
I mean, they got Rondo and Stevenson, and I mean, they're getting all these vets.
Are you
McGee.
arguing that's helping or hurting? Like, come on, they're not going to win now because they got Rondo and Lance Stevenson.
Maybe
Rondo
not,
helps.
but it's not a punt move. You're hoping that those guys work out.
I know. I guess yes, you are hoping that. But if you want to beat Golden State, you want to beat the Rockets, you need another star player on that team. You can't just hope Ball like takes a huge step in his second year, or Ingram is going to be amazing.
Well, Jimmy Butler did not mention the Lakers, so maybe there's a reason for that.
Well, you know what matters very little? Who Butler wants to go to. It does not matter. He has zero say in this. All he say is that, like, I'll say whether I'm going to sign somewhere. I don't remember Paul George saying, Oklahoma, trade me to Oklahoma, yet he went to Oklahoma.
Same with Kawhi.
Yeah, it didn't really matter. Kawhi named some teams, and he's on Toronto now.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter what you want unless you have a no-trade clause, and that doesn't happen unless you're on the goddamn Knicks.
Who would the Lakers even give up, though? Like I said, I don't think you want to give up a guy like Ingram.
Would you trade Ingram? Like, let's just say that's it. Ingram and match some contracts. Ingram for, why not? I agree. Ingram's a very good player. Butler is better. Butler's a very good defense. Like, Butler makes the team better now.
He does.
And you're not playing the long game anymore. You're playing for these 3 years. You're not going to have the fourth year's not guaranteed because LeBron could opt out of the fourth year. You're playing for right now. So either are you punting this year, hoping for the draft to sign the guy the following year, or you're saying second round and we'll throw a parade.
It's so tough. Ingram could be really good.
Oh no, I'm not arguing that. I'm not disagreeing at all. That's what also makes it like a reasonable trade for Minnesota. Like get Ingram, you're like you could not feel so bad.
Yeah. That's not a bad. I mean, obviously, you have to do more to get salaries to match.
Yeah. I'm not going to look into this stuff. But, okay, Philly. You did jack shit in the offseason. The East is no question weaker. Your main competition here is Toronto, and that's you don't even know what's going to happen with Kawhi. But the Celtics, obviously, the favorites probably in the East. You're Philly. We have a very good young team.
Mm-hmm.
We could definitely use a guy that plays really good defense and plays both sides of the ball and works really hard.
Who do you give up if you're Philly, though?
Fultz?
Yeah, I do that.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you can add it to Sark or whatever else you want, but like you have a very good team there.
If they don't give up Fultz, they know something that we don't.
I mean, it's hard to give up Fultz this fast, also, and maybe Fultz, whatever. But like
that's the thing. I mean, he was a number one pick. There's people think he's going to be really, really good.
Yeah, but like that Philly team, you add Butler to that, could be the favorites of the East. Why not do that if you're Philly? But you have tons of assets still.
Yeah.
Trade a draft pick finally. Just trade a draft pick. Why not?
Or could probably maybe Saric.
Yeah, but Saric's not going to get it for you straight up. Like, I think that's be part of the trade.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Philly should be doing this. Toronto.
Toronto's a mess. I don't know.
They're interested.
Of course they're interested. They're a mess.
They're not a mess. They just got a top 5 player in the NBA.
Uh-huh.
I mean, a year ago he was, but
yeah, they're a mess.
Okay, let's move on. Moving on from so in other trade news, Courtney Lee may or may not have said he wanted to be traded. Mark Berman claims to have sources that said Courtney Lee would like to play for a contender if traded, or maybe he wants to be traded. Courtney Lee has since then publicly denied this. What do you think?
It's one of those weird things where he could have leaked it and then taken it back just so that it's out there. Or Berman could have been making up stuff.
I think it's like one of those things where maybe Berman or some other source was talking to Courtney Lee and just saying, hey, it seems like the Knicks are going to trade you. And he's like, yeah, I guess like those kind of things happen. And they're like, well, if you got traded, do you want to go to a trash team? No, I'd like to go to a contender. There we go. We got the quote.
You know what? That is probably exactly what happened.
That's exactly it's like some bullshit changing of like it without the context. It just sounds like Courtney Lee's being a dick, but really the reporter's being a dick.
Yeah,
I so think that. I don't know that. I'm not claiming Mark Berman did this, but it could be his source who, whatever. Like he doesn't know. That's like he probably should have. I don't know. Like, hey, Courtney Lee, did you ask to be traded? You don't have to call back. I'm just going to run the story either way.
If I don't get a response in 30 seconds, I'm going to run with this.
If I don't get a response 10 minutes ago, because we already ran the story. Okay. In other news, there was a town hall. Stephen Mill. We guess we talked about this a little bit before.
Mm-hmm.
So they're preaching patience. We've been talking about the Knicks needing a rebuild for the longest of times. Do you think we really have the guys that are finally going to do it right? Like, how much faith do you have right now in? I guess I'll separate them. I'll pair Perry and Mills and Fizdale separately. Okay, so Perry and Mills, GM, team president, they're basically the same person. They're like the same entity for us.
Yeah,
they're running the team. And I think in the past you haven't had so much faith because one of them might have signed Timmy Hardaway to an outrageous contract
as their very first move. Yeah,
at their first, but that was Mills, not Perry.
Right.
But how much faith do you have in these guys now? Like, what do you think of what they're saying? What's been happening so far?
It looks like they actually have a plan to do an actual rebuild, do it the right way, and they're actually sticking to it, which makes me feel strange because usually we hear that they're going to do that, and then the first shiny thing that comes up, the entire plan's out the door. I think this Jimmy Butler thing will be a good test to see how much willpower they have.
Yeah, well, it sounds like, I mean, they've already said they're kind of out on this.
Well, they've said that, but we've had other front office people in the Knicks say things that didn't actually happen as well. Okay,
Fizdale has yet to coach a single game for the Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
How are you feeling? He said that 14 to 16 players, I don't know why he said 14 to 16, but 14 to 16 players have been regularly working with the coaches throughout the offseason. So, like, it's not like, hey, let's get the training camp and figure stuff out. He has been on top of all these guys most of the offseason.
Yeah, he's already one of my favorite coaches since we started doing this podcast.
Yeah, I mean, this is I have such high, like, as far as my 1 to 10, my just like hope basically is at a 10 right now for Fizdale. It's just like, I mean, I don't know, I don't want to put too much on the expectations, but I feel like he's gonna be a really good coach. Everything I'm hearing, I'm just very high on this. I'm so much higher in this. I was a fan of the hire to begin with, but since then, I'm like, this is gonna be. This should work out. I hope it works out.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I just want a coach whose rotations make sense. That's it, really.
Yeah. I mean, you don't know what's going to happen. He said, like, I love this quote. If our culture isn't right, the free agent market doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, it's true, and it's good to hear.
Yeah.
I like that he went and visited Porzingis in Europe.
Yeah, and they said I think they were talking about it, that it was like they didn't know each other very well, and by the end of it, they were old friends.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. I mean, that could have been the difference between Porzingis staying or leaving.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what happens in the season, nothing really matters till everything starts. But yeah, I was pretty excited about it. I love the fact that everyone seems like they're on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not like coach saying one thing, GM saying another thing. Like, the GM's not being like 2 years ago, let's do a triangle, and the coach is like, I guess so.
Yeah.
Okay. Another topic for you. Knox. So I've been very high on Knox. He get to play a single game in the NBA. Do you think fans, I guess the Donovan Mitchell effect. Mitchell was a little bit later pick. He had a huge rookie year. Do you think chances of Knox being as good as Donovan Mitchell are pretty low, right?
Right.
At least from like moment one. He's not going to have the rookie year that Donovan Mitchell had. So the question to you is, do you think the Donovan Mitchell year in some ways has skewed expectations where if Knox comes out and is somewhat average to begin with, Knicks fans will bail early on him?
I don't think that has anything to do with Mitchell. I think that is just Knicks fans. I mean, you have that
quarter one, trade him, he sucks.
Yeah, that shitty little kid and his dad are going to be putting their thumbs down like as soon as he misses his first free throw. I mean, that's just the way it is in New York. But yeah, I wouldn't say it's because of Mitchell.
But I do think the fact like he's like a 9th pick in the draft, I feel like a lot of Knicks fans are like going like, we've got the Donovan Mitchell kind of like a little bit later. People have missed the fact that he's this good, and he looked great in summer league. But I feel like the expectations are going to be really high. And I'm a little bit. Are you worried the expectations are going to be so high that somehow will hurt Knox, or do you think that's not going to? He's going to be.
That's a good question. I just hope he's doesn't let the criticism get to him.
Do you think the criticism, I guess, expectation-wise, and the Knicks fans were not as high on, but still wanted a lot, and he had a somewhat disappointing rookie year, was Ntilikina. Do you think the expectations kind of hurt him, the way Knicks fans kind of got down on him so fast? Did that hurt him in any way? Or, like, it didn't really matter?
I did feel like it. I think it did get to Ntilikina a little bit. He seemed like he was like starting to get his groove, and then it seemed like he lost confidence. And I think part of that is because of the constant criticism.
I mean, how much do you think you guys are tuned into like reading like Twitter and all the goddamn articles about like how much do you think you guys follow all this crap, or do you think a lot of guys ignore a lot of it?
I think they should ignore it, but it's so hard not to. It's so hard to ignore that. Yeah,
I mean, well, hopefully this is the time it's going to work out better because we have Fizz, we have Perry, we have Mills, we've got it going to get it right this time.
I mean, think about it. When we get a response on Twitter, like we definitely read it. Like
yeah,
and now imagine
we're not,
that,
but like no one cares about us. Like these are the guys that actually really matter. I mean, these guys are obviously very famous. Like this is a different thing.
Yeah, but it doesn't change human nature. If somebody's talking about you, you're going to want to hear what they're saying.
You think Trump reads his feedback on Twitter?
I think he might read some, but it's impossible. I mean, the guy tweets once and he's got 100,000 responses. He would
It's
literally be doing nothing all day but reading responses.
It's amazing we have a public forum that where like the president, whatever you think of the president, he tweets something, and like 50,000 people immediately go, "I hate your guts."
No, it's
Just
not
so he
even
can
like
read it.
a nuanced discussion. It's just like you're the worst.
You're the worst. I mean, that's the one thing I have to say. Like, better than some other countries in the world where you probably wouldn't. That would be the last tweet you ever send.
Yeah, yeah. It's just funny. Like he could be like, "I'm giving free money to everybody," and people are just like, "Hey, yeah, but I hate you still."
Yeah, but like so, like Knox, like you're like a guy like Knox, you like, or like Ntilikina, he was people were like people were high in his defense, but his offense they were like he sucks. He's a what a crap pick. I guess you gotta read a little bit of that. I guess how do you avoid like reading the criticism? You're right, because you're also like you're not obviously you're gonna read. This is stuff you're gonna read. You read sports stuff. You're into this stuff.
Yeah.
You're playing. Okay, you want to play a game?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. SI Sports Illustrated did a top, and ESPN and lots of other sources do their own, but they did a top 100 players in the NBA. And Jay, you have the list?
I am pulling it up right now.
Okay. I am going to see how far down the list I can get to guess SI, and I've not looked at the list. For fairness, I get three tries for each player.
Three tries for each spot.
Yeah, is that fair?
Yeah.
I feel like because I feel like if it was just 3 tries generally or 3 strikes, this would not go on very long.
Right. You only get 1 try for number 1.
I only get 1 try for number 1.
Yeah. Fine, you can do 3, but if you take more than 1, you're stupid.
Well, I'm thinking for the top player, like, I mean, like, are they doing LeBron for number 1?
Is that your guess?
Well, yes, it's my guess. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. They could have like argued like, I guess they could have argued like Durant. So Durant number 2.
Yep.
Okay, I'm doing good here.
If this was ESPN, you would have been wrong.
What did ESPN say?
They had Durant at 4.
Really? Okay. So number 3 on the list, I'm going to say Steph Curry.
You are on fire.
Sweet. Number 4 on this list. It gets harder, obviously.
Yeah.
Number 4 on this list. Harden.
4 for 4.
So was Harden number 2 or 3 on the ESPN?
Yeah, he was. I'm trying to remember 3. Harden was 3 on ESPN.
You know what? I know one thing for sure. I will not be good. I will not do good enough on this to ever get to the point where I should say a Nick out loud. Okay, so we're up to number 5.
Yeah.
5 is not going to be Kawhi. Number 5 is going to be. Westbrook? No. I'm taking that back. Okay. Actually, I'll do Westbrook. Yeah.
You are incorrect.
I might be out on this one already.
Strike 1.
Number 5. It's not going to be like Klay Thompson. It's not going to be. Could it be Chris Paul already? Or Kyrie? I am struggling with this.
It's going to be obvious when you, not obvious, but you're going to be like, oh, I can't believe I didn't think of that guy.
Yeah, so I haven't thought of the guy yet. Who am I missing? I mean, this is, you want to give me a hint, Jay? No, don't give me a hint. Okay, this is, Anthony Davis.
Correct.
Okay, number 6. Is 6 Westbrook?
It is not.
Not Westbrook.
You know Westbrook's not happy about that.
Yeah. Is 6? Can't be Chris Paul. is 6.
The struggle is real on this one.
Yeah. I'm not. Maybe we should have done this reverse. Maybe we should have a you guess. I think maybe you'd be better at this than I am. I am struggling with this. I am going to go with Chris Paul.
Really? Strike.
Okay, fine.
Strike 2.
Fine. Yeah, I'm gonna be out on this. I guess I have one more guess, right?
Yeah.
This is pretty bad. This is really bad. It's not Kyrie. I kind of want you to go like, it's not Kyrie, Mark. God damn it! I think I'm out on this. I am not getting this.
It's I'm trying to think if I can nudge you in the right direction on this one.
Yeah, not make this the shortest bit ever.
Eastern Conference.
Eastern Conference.
Not the Knicks division.
Not the Knicks division. Okay. Oh, Greek Freak.
Yes.
Okay, that's a reasonable one also. Number 7 on the list will be Westbrook.
Yes.
Okay. Number 8 on the list would be number 8 on the list. Is this where Chris Paul?
Yep.
Okay. I wasn't crazy for saying that one.
I was actually surprised he was up that high.
Yeah, no, it's hard. Like number 9 on the list, Klay Thompson.
No. This is where you're going to be out.
Okay. Number 9 on the list. You think I'm definitely not getting this one?
Yeah.
Okay. You're probably right. Number 9 on the list. Okay, just thinking about who is left. It's not going to be like Damian Lillard. Or is it going to be like Damian Lillard? I wouldn't put him that high. Is it going to be? It's not going to be not going to be Ben Simmons. It's not going to be like a Donovan Mitchell. It is. Paul George?
No. That is number 11.
Oh, okay. You're telling me that as you know I'm not going to get this.
Well, we're only... Oh, we are going past 10? Oh.
Well, we're not. We're probably not going past 10 because I'm probably
okay.
getting this wrong.
Okay.
I don't know. Who is it?
You have one?
On Philly. What's Embiid?
Yeah. Oh, I'm surprised you got that one.
Okay. Number 10.
Mm-hmm.
I've got 11 now. I know we'll end this bit now. Towns is 10.
No.
I guess that would be a hard one. Lillard?
No.
Klay Thompson?
No. Okay, so we didn't need number 11.
Yeah, what was it?
Jimmy Butler.
Oh. Okay, I mean, that's fair. It really the list gets a lot harder. What's the next? Give it the next 11 through 20.
So 11 is Paul George, then Kawhi Leonard, Draymond Green, Rudy Gobert, which you probably would have been out on.
Yeah, I would never have gotten that one. But it's a reasonable thing. I mean, he's an amazingly great defensive center. But go on.
Lillard at 15. You got Al Horford, Kyrie Irving, Jokic at 18. You definitely wouldn't have got that one.
He's really high, huh?
Yeah. Towns at 19 and Oladipo at 20.
Okay, would you rather have Towns or Jokic?
Towns.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, ESPN list is probably a little bit different. You could probably argue some of the guys like who should be where, but solid list. Where's the earliest Nick? Where's Porzingis?
You're gonna have to talk for a while I scroll.
Okay, forget it. He's probably okay.
I
Last
think
bit of
it's
news.
in the 50s.
Okay, I mean it's fair. I mean, like, let's not get over it. Like, let's get excited when KP forces his way in the top 20 because he's awesome. He's not there yet, and he's got to play for a full season. Last bit of Nick news, and then we will go to questions. Joakim Noah is still on the Knicks. Actually, by the time you download this episode, maybe not, but he's still in the Knicks for now.
52. Porzingis.
Okay. Do you think Noah's being bought? He's going to be gone soon. What are the Knicks waiting for? Is the question.
I think they're trying to get him to take a little bit less money.
Yeah, that's probably it.
I mean, if he takes,
they can't think a trade's really happening. So, like,
I mean, even if he takes like $6 million less, that's a good amount.
Yeah, and I guess like forgetting the stretching thing, I don't think makes sense. But there's some theory about like the money is better used in free agency if you stretch him than if you don't. But just getting him away from the team, like I thought maybe he'd be a good guy on the team because obviously he was known for his defense, and Knicks need a center on this team besides because right now it's Cantor and the backup is Mitchell Robinson, right?
Yeah, Cantor keeps showing workout videos. Yeah. None of them are focused on defense.
Yeah, well, he's not focused on defense, so it doesn't really matter. He just doesn't have the defensive instincts.
No,
or athleticism. Like right now, I would if we game on the line, you need a center on the floor. Mitchell Robinson, without a game under his belt, I'd rather have him out there just in the hopes that he's pure athleticism. He could like make up for something and get a block. There's no way Cantor's going to be in the right position on defense.
No, definitely
game
not.
On the line right now. Robinson's played 0 games in the NBA. Who do you take?
I feel like Mitchell Robinson's going to foul like crazy this season.
Yeah, that is probably the case. Right now, it's like, and what's his name is the other center? The KP Light.
Cornette?
Yeah, Cornette. We don't got a lot of centers, so it would have made sense to have Noah on the team. But at the same time, Noah is a giant distraction. There were major issues there. Why not, if you're going to establish this culture, get rid of the guy that may cause a distraction? You want this locker room to be you want the locker room to work out well. You want a good locker room. You don't want anyone there who's going to somehow ruin this for you.
Right.
So get rid of the distraction. Totally understand buying him out. And Noah should take the buyout. He should give some money back because he didn't give a lot. It's almost like highway robbery. So,
I mean, it's not his fault, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I want him to do it just for the Knicks' sake. I can't really blame him. Like, they're like, hey, you want all this money? And he's like, yeah, I want all that money, of course.
That's what I signed for. That's why I let Phil Jackson do pull-ups off my arm. That's what I signed for. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, like, the sooner he takes it, the sooner he can hopefully join Minnesota and get his career going again.
Yeah. You'd think you'd want to settle this soon just so while teams still have an open roster spot, they can take him.
I mean, the Knicks could just say, hey, okay, fine, go home and don't play in the NBA for the next 2 years. And that's your end of your career, basically.
Right.
Which I don't think they'll do that, but that's their best, like that's their nuclear option, basically, is go home and just don't play in the NBA for 2 years.
Yeah, that is bad karma. That would not go over well.
Yeah. Questions?
Yes. nyknickspodcast@gmail.com. Jorge writes, have you guys seen those NBA pickup games? Enes Kanter's bitch ass is horrible at defense, and I hope he gets added to any trade package for Jimmy Butler. I saw one, and he was he let somebody basically run right down the middle. He's not even trying on defense.
So he was in midseason form?
Yes.
I mean, the thing is, it's just crazy because he is so good on offense. Like post up, very good player. I don't know. I'm not arguing that he should be on the team. It's just like you wish he could play. If he could play NBA average defense, he'd be a solid guy to have on the team.
He would be a borderline all-star if he was average on defense. But he's so bad, he's like barely playable. Yeah,
that's the rub there. Yeah, I like the Knicks go younger, more athletic. We'll have one more year of Cantor, and Cantor's going to play a lot. Cantor's our starting center, right?
Yeah.
Hard to see how it works out otherwise. And he's going to play a lot of minutes, right?
Yeah, he's going to play at least 25.
Okay, so Cantor's going to be the guy pushing us to get a high draft pick. I like Cantor. There's no one not to like him as like a player, except for the fact that he doesn't play defense.
Yeah.
Like you want to root for him otherwise, right?
I mean, he seems like a great guy. It's just, yeah, he's so bad on defense. It's really hard to get excited about him being on the court.
So in OKC, he was a guy. He was like the sixth man, right? Seventh man, whatever. He came off the bench. Do you think on the right team he'd work out? I mean, I don't see him going from starting center to like being like, okay, I'm comfortable being your backup. But on the right team, like he'd be a solid guy to have off your bench.
Yeah, that's the thing. The Knicks do this a lot. There's guys that would be good in certain situations, and the Knicks are like, all right, you're our star.
Jose Calderon, you know how you're like settling in as a backup? You're our starting point guard, 35 minutes a night. Ready? I don't want to do this. Okay, Calderon, go do it. Run the offense.
Yeah, exactly.
What else you got?
That is it for emails. Twitter, NY Knicks podcast. We don't have either.
Okay, I don't think we put up Twitter. We did not ask for Twitter questions.
No, we did not. That's probably why we don't have any.
Yes. Usually we have to ask for them to get them. So we got two questions from. So we post on Facebook a question asking for a thread of questions for the show. If you have questions for the show, we're happy to read them from other sources, but try to put them in this thread, because if you don't, there's a chance we'll just forget you gave a question. Like emails and the Facebook thread are the best way to get questions to us. Twitter also, but any other way, like if you send us like a direct message, we may forget about it. We're going to try not to forget about it because we want to read every message. But anyway, Rafi writes to us, if Nets get Butler, do you think they can surpass the Knicks' popularity this year? Do you think they make the playoffs? What seed? So the first part, popularity. Can the Nets overtake the Knicks if they had Butler?
No.
Do you think so? Actually, let's taking that back a step back. If the Nets 2000, like the Nets have been to the finals more recently than the Knicks have, right?
Yes.
A while ago. But when the Jason Kidd, they had a very good team there.
Yeah.
Do you think that, like, at that time, Nets were really good, Knicks not as good? Were the Nets more popular than the Knicks at that point? And they were New Jersey, not Brooklyn Nets at the time.
Yeah, you got to think they were.
I don't know if they really. I still think I still think it was easier to get a ticket to the Net game. I can't remember. I don't know how much the Net tickets cost then. I still think MSG was a more expensive ticket. And I still think Knicks fans I don't think they had as big a fan base in New Jersey. That's why they left.
Yeah, I mean, it was very easy to get tickets.
Yeah, and so, but in Brooklyn, if the Nets became a star team, like they became really good, do they overtake the Knicks? I don't know. I still think the Knicks are the Knicks. I still think it's a tough thing for Brooklyn to become the team. But it's kind of like the Mets becoming the team over the Yankees. It can't happen.
It can. It would be very, very tough.
Would it happen if with Jimmy Butler? I don't think so.
No.
They need to add some more pieces. So looking at the roster, let's say you add Butler, forgetting about who you're giving it. You got to give up some. First of all, are the Nets like, yeah, let's trade draft picks? That's a great idea. Are you goddamn kidding me? Are the Nets going to trade draft picks at this point? They haven't been able to draft in like a decade. Are they going to trade that next draft pick?
They can't.
I mean, they've had some draft picks.
After what happened with Boston, if they start trading draft picks, they're gonna start a riot.
They're still recovering from that Celtics trade. That I just don't think you can possibly really trade a first round pick. I don't think you trade a first round pick for this. And you add to the roster. The team is pretty bad. I think adding Butler, I don't think this is a playoff team with Butler. What do you think?
Probably not. I mean, they're really bad.
I mean, they have I like D'Angelo. First of all, if Butler didn't like he didn't like how the guys played, he didn't like how Wiggins played. Is he gonna be a huge fan of D'Angelo Russell?
Probably not.
On the Nets, who are the players that you like? You like LeVert. You like
Joe Harris.
I don't know if you like Jarris. You like Dinwiddie.
Yep.
Jared Allen's supposed to be good, the center.
It's
There's
about
not a lot there.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
Crabbe's
really about
okay.
it. You got the Beast.
Yeah. Carroll.
Ed Davis.
You got some players there, and like they could. I just don't see you adding. They don't have they have a mishmash of players that are kind of like not too many really good young players. I don't see this team going anywhere.
It is a lot of players that underperformed on other teams. You got Napier, Dudley.
Do they not still have Okafor? I don't see him on the roster here.
No, but they have who was the other guy they had? Fareed.
Freed is remember when he was going to be a big deal?
Yeah.
It turns out you got to play defense because like Freed didn't play defense, and then like eventually Denver was like, okay, you're done playing. I can't see this team being a playoff team with you even add Butler. I think this team is going to be this team is a long way to go.
Okafor is on the Pelicans now, so.
Oh, okay. I'm sure he'll play there. In theory, you think Okafor as a guy also could be like a six-man. You think these guys that aren't that great on defense who can play offense would have like some role.
Number 3 pick going to be on his 3rd team in 4 seasons. Not a good start.
Not a good start. Okay. Rafi also writes, teams looks full right now. If we can, what position would you still like to upgrade? So Knicks, not the Nets. Teams looking pretty full. What position are you going to upgrade?
Well, 3 is still the weakest position.
Yes and no, because like the only thing about that is Knox your 3 or Knox your 4. I guess you're thinking Knox is going to be the 4 of the future, and KP is going to be the 5 of the future.
Right.
Yeah, I guess you're right though. I guess the 3 is we could use some help on the 3. Like point guard, in theory, you might need help, but you're hoping KP Ntilikina works out there. Every other guy on the team plays guard, so you're good there. Or you don't want to up. You need playing time. 3, you need some help. But it would be nice to have a 3 so you can like focus Knox on the 4. Because who's our 3 right now?
Hardaway.
I mean,
Lance
Thomas. Guess, but he's not even like a 3. Like, didn't Fizz say Hardaway doesn't seem tall enough to be a 3?
Lance Thomas.
Yeah, Lance Thomas, I guess, is your 3. I mean, like he said, I think he was talking about. He just said about like Courtney Lee and like he had some. There were guys playing the position that were not big enough necessarily to be to really be 3s. I forget the exact quote from him, but I don't know if Hardaway's really a 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 3 is really where. Is there any guy out there like maybe like an all-star type level player who's like on the trading block who's a 3?
I wonder how mad people are going to get that we weren't totally all in on the Butler thing.
I don't think so, because I've been listening to a lot of like other Knicks like radio and like some other Knicks podcasts and reading a lot of Knicks like coverage. A lot of fans are against this move.
I think we were pretty rational about it too.
Yeah,
like we gave our reasons.
All the things is it's no one's saying we shouldn't sign Butler in the offseason. I mean, some people are saying that, but I think the general consensus here is let's not do another Melo here. If we can get him in free agency, that's great. It's not worth picking up assets. Let's try to do this right. I think Knicks fans, like when during the press conference when they talked about like we're going to take this slow, Knicks fans were like, "This is great, fantastic." Like the fan base, the majority of the fan base, I think is on board with this. I don't know if they'll be on board with this come January when we're terrible, but for now they're on board with it.
Yeah.
Next question. Sorry, I got this. Santiago writes, "What's coming first, Jay's CPA or a Knicks championship?"
CPA.
I hope so. So, Jay, for those that don't know, maybe new listeners to the show, Jay has been torturing himself for the last decade taking the CPA exam, trying to pass it. Last decade?
It feels like it, yeah.
Anyway, so we might do, right now we're going to do one show a week. We'll be back next Sunday, every Sunday thereafter. We may do a second show a week when Jay is done with the CPA, which will be sometime in December.
Yes.
Okay. Bobby writes, is it wiser to stretch Noah or just eat his contract for another year? I say get him off the books ASAP. Why drag it out?
I kind of agree with that.
So the theory is the money is more useful now than it would be when he goes off the books.
I know that's the theory, but it's just going to be so hard in 2021 still seeing Noah on the books.
Yeah, but if you can use it better, because at some point you're going to, in theory, max KP, and you'll have less flexibility. It would be kind of ideal if you're going to sign a max player, do it the same summer you max KP for just like salary cap purposes. It'd be easier to go above the like. If you look at Golden State, they pay $30 million more in salary than the Knicks do, but they do it because they have young players they've maxed out. You develop your own players. It's much easier to like go well above the cap. So in these dumbass rules, so it'd be ideal to sign a max guy next year as opposed to waiting till after you sign KP.
I get why. It's really going to hurt seeing his name on the books.
Yeah. And I don't want to just sign a guy just for the sake of signing a guy either, but like, I get that. I guess if you can go with the intention of like, hey, I guess the question, what I don't understand is why not wait till next offseason to do it? Why do it now? Or maybe you have to stretch him right away.
Well, if you wait till next offseason and he's just
a distraction all season because you haven't cut him actually.
Well, then you could just waive him, right?
You could waive him, but you still have one more year, and you could stretch that year, or you can still stretch that year basically and add him for a second, have him because you want to like maximize cap space.
Right.
Okay, I guess I'd rather get rid of him. I agree with you, but I understand the idea of stretching him for if you're going to go in, if you want to sign a max guy next summer, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
Bobby writes, Butler wants max money and is currently 29 with 8 grinding Thibodeau years on him. Giving him 3 more years of prime ball is being generous. The anchor of our team, the guy we're building around, KP, is currently 23. He hasn't even entered his prime yet and won't be until Butler is cooked and 31 or 32. Then we have a pile of teenagers. How does Butler fit our timeline?
I can answer this one.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
Oh, what a hot take you got there, Jack. And Ntilikina's 20. Knox is 19. We got a lot of young guys, basically.
Yeah.
It seems like it does not make sense to sign a guy that old.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't make sense. Like if this year happens where like Knox is awesome and other guys look awesome. The team is like looking like, hey, we're getting closer to being a contender. Then you add Butler and you're like, okay, this makes sense. But if we're miles away from being good, then it's gonna like if you go through the season and Knox sucks, the young guys suck, then like you have KP and Butler and not much else.
Mm-hmm.
And you've screwed up that draft pick. Yeah. Because at least like the saving grace of like if Knox is bad, the Knicks are just bad this season, you still get a top draft pick. Jeffrey writes, if we don't land any top 3 free agents next summer, who do we target and will we be happy or feel like we got used again? Jay, write the answer in the I also asked people to help you cheat on your CPA exam, Jay. And Jeffrey wrote, Jay, write the answer on the back of a Gatorade bottle, label and glue it back to the bottle, drink enough Gatorade during the test to see the label through the plastic. That's pretty good, Jay.
They I guess somebody tried that already. You're not allowed to bring any liquids into the test.
So it's like the goddamn airport there, huh?
Yeah, you're not allowed to. I couldn't even bring in a breath mint.
I've written all the answers on this breath mint.
Yeah, it's this 1-inch piece of paper. I wrote all 400 answers on there.
You should write the answers on your anxiety medication. So what do we do? We don't let... So next top 3 free agents we're going to say are Butler, Kyrie, and Durant, right?
Yeah, I mean, You also got Klay Thompson.
Clay is staying in Golden State, so let's just not even talk about it. Like
There's
I don't
rumors
think
that he wants his own team.
Okay, well, Clay, Knicks could be your own team. Okay, so let's add Clay. So 4 guys, and then like Kemba is like a distant fifth.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who else is in there, but you don't land one of those 4 guys. What do we do? Do you go for Kemba? Do you go for someone else?
I just want to see them stay the course. If you don't get who you want, every year there's going to be a really good free agent, and the Knicks core is still super, super young. So there's no reason to panic and use up all the money and just to get somebody because you have the money. It's not necessary.
I say we study Knicks history and learn from it.
Yeah.
We don't trade midseason to get Carmelo again. We don't sign Amari because he's our 4th choice and we just had to spend the money. Nothing against those guys. We just learn from our mistakes.
Yep.
I would love that. Don't trade draft picks. Bobby writes, would trading assets picks for a player like Butler be akin to doing the same for Melo, Bargs, and Curry? Why are so many Knicks fans so impatient, myopic? Thank you for working the word myopic in there, Bobby. Yeah. For those that don't know what the word myopic means, you're like me.
Breaking news.
I do know what the breaking news.
There is a rumor that there is a Miami trade in the works.
A Miami trade for
Butler.
Ooh. Do they? Does this rumor include names?
No, but I'm thinking Whiteside and Justice Winslow works.
And a draft pick.
Don't Butler and Wade hate each other?
Yeah, I know Wade is coming back, but like, doesn't really matter. I mean, Winslow is tradable because the team doesn't seem like Winslow's a great fit there.
Right.
They seem better when Winslow's off the court. And I think they already admit like Whiteside seems like he's overpaid at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, if that's the trade, and obviously we have no basis to know that's the trade. You're Minnesota, you do that?
Yeah,
well, I guess
probably.
How do you do? If you had Whiteside, is he playing next to Towns?
Yeah, you're playing with the 4.
You're playing Towns at the 4, though?
Play Whiteside at the 4. It doesn't matter. Play one of them at the 4.
Doesn't matter. You're in Minnesota. No one cares.
I mean, Towns is trying to develop a 3-point shot, so maybe play him at the 4.
I feel like you're Minnesota. You really want Towns at the 5. I don't love that move from Minnesota. You probably can get someone else from this roster that makes sense, though. If you're Miami, Winslow's. So if they're doing this trade, Winslow's probably a part of the trade. I think you're right. I think there's a draft pick involved, and we can guess, but I'm sure we'll find out pretty soon who else it is.
If you want big NBA news to happen, just have us do a show, and it happens the next day.
No, not next day. Right after we post.
Yeah, as soon as I upload this, the trade's going to go through.
So here's a question, Jay. Do you feel any remorse in the fact that, let's say he goes to Miami and then signs an extension there and you just missed out on Butler?
I'll get over it. It, especially 2 years from now when, I forget who it was, wrote in.
Bobby.
As Bobby said, when the wheels fall off 2 years from now, we'll feel so much better about not getting him.
Yeah. Bobby also writes. We just wrote that question about so would it be akin trading for Jimmy Butler would be akin to doing the same for Melo? It's the most I guess it seems very similar to Melo. Curry I thought Curry was off season. Was he during the season? I don't remember. Yeah, as
Eddie
we
Curry?
learned last week, I don't remember. Yeah, Eddie Curry.
Oh. Yeah, I blacked out for the next 6 months when that happened.
Yeah. Whatever. I mean, he traded a lot of draft picks.
I think that was off season.
The Bargs one was off season. The Bargs one was just like it's just like Butler, except you're like we're trading for a bottom 15 talent that no one wanted, and the Knicks just threw in players for no good reason.
Yeah, and draft picks.
Yeah. Adrian writes, so if the Knicks don't land a big free agent next season, are they screwed money-wise? Because KP is set to make big money. And if Franks develops as good as we hope, he'll probably want big money, and so would Robinson and Knox. I think their timeline to win is 3 years. What do you guys think? So KP is in year 5, right?
Yeah.
Is that year 4?
4.
Yeah,
this
year
is
4.
why we get 1-star ratings on iTunes.
No. So I was just thinking, so this is year 4, so he'd have to be signed in the offseason going into year 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the other guys, them on the same timeline, you have, right, Ntilikina is going to be, this is his second year. He'll have 2 more full years, and then he'll want
if
money.
we don't get somebody next year, we still have a couple years.
Yeah.
Ntilikina,
But you want to get guys in. So the point of it, though, is you want to get guys signed before you have to max all your guys. Because then when you...
Oh, no, I totally agree. It's just next year is not the do or die year.
But I think he's right in the sense of... I mean, hopefully Ntilikina develops that you want... Like, these guys hopefully develop where you want to sign them the big contracts. But you're right. So we probably have this offseason and maybe the next one... Maybe the next 2, maybe like the next 3 off seasons to sign someone before we're screwed. Yeah, not screwed, but like if we're going to take advantage of the salary cap. Ideal is this off season. Then every off season after that might be a little bit harder, or it might be worse. Yeah, and if you I guess at the end of the day though, if you signed all these guys and they're all really good, maybe we don't need another star in there. Who knows? Tristan writes. The problem also is, though, any of the star players you're going to sign are usually going to be of the old. They're usually going to be in their late 20s at the like most of the guys aren't free agents at 25.
Right.
Tristan writes, question: would we really want Jimmy Butler on the Knicks? Surely they would mess it up and trade KP to get him. Or if he's a free agent next summer, is he worth it? Being 30 years old on a 5-year, $190 million deal. I say leave the team in rebuilding mode and see what we can do next year. Always a great podcast, guys. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Yeah, I guess the big thing I want is I want to keep the team as is, develop the young guys this season, and see where you're at the end of the offseason. See if, like, are we close? Are we nowhere near? Get a sense of where we are with these young guys before you try to bring in other players.
As much as I like to get a debate going right now, I can't disagree with that.
Okay. What did we learn today, Jay? I think that's our last question.
Oh, okay. I forgot to say we are part of the Almighty Baller Podcast Network and Dash Radio, so check out those venues as well.
Okay.
We are also on Patreon, patreon.com/NY Knicks Podcast. And I think that was... Oh, and the New York Knicks Podcast.com is our website. You can
do any T-shirts that people can buy.
You can get Knicks Podcast T-shirts. So help support the show. Get a shirt. Join the Patreon. If you notice, I believe the sound quality sounds a lot better this week. So I'd like to thank everybody for their donations and their Patreons. And yeah, it pays off because this is what happens. I got some new equipment, and I think it sounds a lot better.
Cool.
Especially Old Faithful Bar in Australia made a big donation, so thank you.
I was just checking the realgm.com to see if any updates, and this is not basketball related, but I just saw the Niners feel that Garoppolo might have suffered an ACL tear. That really sucks.
I haven't watched football in so long, I don't even know who that is.
Oh, he was the backup for Brady. Niners traded for him last year. He went on a tear. Like, he played really well, and the Niners thought they found their quarterback, and they signed him to a huge contract. And now he might be done for at least a year, if not longer. Anyway, it's not Knicks or basketball related, so it doesn't really matter for our show, our listeners. But you know what I learned today? I learned that our fans seem like they're in it. They're going to be patient because it seems like most of our fans are skeptical about trading for Jimmy Butler. They're skeptical of making the same mistakes we made in the past. It seems like most of our fans would not be a fan of trading for Butler right now.
Yeah. I'm proud of you guys.
And it seems like everyone wants to do a real rebuild. So, and I am proud. No, I'm proud of the goddamn Knicks front office, who seems to had said something on Monday, and then when it actually mattered on Wednesday, they said, "Fine, we're still sticking to our plan."
And I couldn't find the contacts for a couple people who were in the fantasy league last year. There is one spot left, and 3 people haven't rejoined. So first one to contact me gets that spot.
When is the draft?
October 13th. So
Okay.
I'm leaving it open to the people who were in it last year for 1 more week. And if not, then it's first come, first serve for new people.
Okay. Awesome.
There you go. So, yeah, thanks for listening, everybody. We are back to our weekly schedule, and
Training camp, I think, opens next week.
Knock on wood, late December, twice a week.
Yes, that would be awesome. Yeah, next show we'll have a training camp. When training camp opens, what is the? We said this before. When was it? When's it open? It's like the 30th.
The training camp is it's different for 24th. So tomorrow.
Opens tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
And preseason starts on Friday.
Yeah. So we'll have stuff to talk about.
That's
crazy.
Awesome. We'll actually have a preseason game before next episode. This is great.
Oh wow. I am excited.
That really snuck up on me.
Yeah, no, I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming very, very soon. I didn't realize it was. I kept thinking October, but it's
because they pushed the season 2 weeks earlier. So now we're all like out of sorts.
Yeah, no, we said it on last show, but I knew it was right around now. Yeah, we have some stuff to talk about. We got some stuff to talk about going forward. It'll be fun.
Yep,
I'm excited. Okay, roll the credits.
October 1st is the first Knicks preseason game.
Okay, that's not next Friday.
No, that'll be, of course, the day after we record again.
I knew it wasn't before. I was positive it was the first one was in October.
Yeah, that's what happened. So, yeah, it starts for other teams. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So glad we got that figured out. Thanks for listening. If you guys get bored between the show and the next show, we could use some positive reviews on iTunes. So, go ahead and
just stop it. You're never going to get a positive review.
Yeah,
Stop it.
I know. All right.
Stop it. Okay.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, love. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go. This is the end. Say goodbye. You better go away. I'm gonna leave you. It's the end. Goodbye. Goodbye. Just leave me alone. Feels so good to say goodbye. I'm sick and tired and I'm saying goodbye. Goodbye, girl. Goodbye, everybody.
Probably should have narrowed down where that bar was, right? Go to Australia.
Oh, yeah.
It's in Perth. This is post credit. It's in Perth, Australia. So that narrows it down a little bit.
Okay, cool.
I'm the worst.
Okay.